Hey Toolerinos, got a $5 tool haul here. That's right, $5. Let's begin. First up is this number 3 Phillips screwdriver wood handle. And looky there. I cleaned it up to read it. Hopefully you guys can make that out. It's a Velchek. Velchek. I'm not sure how to really pronounce it, but pretty cool old screwdriver. It's got the hex right here to put a wrench on it or something if you need more torque. Very cool old wood screwdriver. Next up is a Red Devil scraper, Uniontown, New Jersey. Never had one like this. The handle kind of floats here a little bit. I'm assuming it's intended to be that way, so if you pushing down on something, the head can maintain flat against, even if you rotate the handle a little bit. Right? I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm wrong about that. Next up, this does not have a name on it, but the handle is exactly the same as the Red Devil handle, except this part's trimmed off. It seems like this blade is replaceable with this thumb screw. And there's some sort of a braiding device, sander. I don't know, it's pretty sharp. So I'm not sure what that's really intended to be used for, but it's heavy duty and it's cool. So it came home with me. Next up is a pokey thing. And you know, I wouldn't necessarily be too excited about it, but it is a brand I'm not super familiar with. I don't know if you guys can make that out. It says Myers Industries Incorporated, Akron, Ohio. So, pretty cool. Next up is like an electrician's screwdriver. Very fine tip. The shaft is insulated, the handle is plastic, and it kind of feels like a Bakelite style handle. But interesting bit is that the back of the handle opens to put something in. I don't know what you would store in there. If there's any electricians watching, you know, what's that for? What would you typically need to store in a small screwdriver? Oh, maybe tiny screws, right? If you're working with tiny brass screws or something in a box and you drop one on the floor rather than have to hunt around for it, maybe you keep some spares in there. Maybe I just answered my own question. If I'm wrong, let me know. If I'm right, let me know. Next up is an interesting old flathead screwdriver thing. I don't know if there's a term for these, but you know, you find interesting old things and you know, you want to take them home. Next up, a new tool country. Says Tullen, New Zealand. Hopefully you guys can make that out. I think this is the first thing I found from New Zealand. It's not super high quality. Plastic handles and the blades don't come all the way together. I'm assuming they should. Plastic handle bottoms out before the blades do. So, I don't know. But, New Zealand, gotta add it to my map. Next up is a punch. It's called a prick punch. And it is made for True Value, made in USA, and it is new in package. So, came home. Next up is a round file, like for sharpening chainsaws. It says Nicholson. It's really small. Don't know if that'll show up well enough, but Nicholson, made in USA. This is a long nut driver type tool. It does not look very high quality. The handle looks quite flimsy, and of course you could not develop much torque with that. I really bought this as a material thinking maybe someday I could put a different type of handle, or this handle's long enough, do something different with it. I don't know, it's more a material than a tool. And I got a quick wedge, very long quick wedge with a green handle. Unfortunately it is, looks like it's got a little bit of the mange starting on there, but it's not too bad. So hopefully I can clean it up and it'll be okay. And another quick wedge, red one, shorter, a little bit larger size. Next item is a sort of a file. It's got curved two-sided files on either end. And then it says USA And here it says USA Cut-O. And here it says AM Swiss USA. So it's not Swiss made. So I don't know, Swiss company making something in the United States, I guess. Next up is a Craftsman #1 Phillips, and it is in like new condition, made by Western Forge. I got a set of these when I was a kid for Christmas one year, so whenever I find these, I don't know, I guess I'm attached to them. Next up is a Blue Line 1/8 inch pin punch. Tip needs a little straightening out there, but otherwise not in too bad a shape. Next item is a flathead little screwdriver, wood handle, and it says here Blue Point. See if you guys can read that. Blue Point, trademark Chicago. So pretty cool. I like that the shaft is a hex. So it's kind of unusual. Next up is a tiny little Craftsman flathead. It's just like the one that came in my Craftsman tap and die set from many tool hauls ago. So I guess that makes it a spare. Alright, next item is, it says Keyback Loomis Manufacturing Company, Pasadena, California. Sorry, Pasadena 8, California. So you know this is pre-1963, and it has a patent number, so I'll look up the patent. So it still works perfectly. So you put this on your belt, and then you've got this key ring here that you can attach your keys to, and you won't lose your keys. Pretty cool. Next item is a scraper. Hook scraper number 3425. Says Hook Scraper Company, Abrahamson and Scarston. Abrahamson and Scarston. Queens Village, New York, USA. And there are patent numbers on there. Let me get them here so I could look them up for you. So it's a very interesting scraper. This unscrews, and then you can turn this around and use the wider side or the narrower side. And I assume these plates would separate and you could change out a blade here on either end. Not really sure. Have to look into that a little bit. Next up is a brace type drill driven socket. It's kind of mashed, but I can fix that, I think. Somebody was using it to hammer on something. But you can see here it's 7/16 USS, which I just learned from the last tool haul with that other wrench that the United States had a Whitworth style way of marking their tools, where it was shaft size rather than across the flats. So yeah, that's way bigger than 7/16. That's 11/16 or something. So could use a little cleanup, a little repair there, and file out the mashing on the inside, and it would technically still be functional. Not that I have any old USS fasteners to use it on, right? Okay, another pokey thing. Scratch All, Western Forge, Craftsman. I also got it with this in one of my sets when I was young, and there again, it's nice to have a spare, right? Next up is a all rubber handled all the way down this far on the shaft. It's really old. You can tell by the rubber and just the style, I guess. It says unbreakable, insulated. So definitely like an electrician's screwdriver, but definitely needs a good cleanup. Next up, a wood-handled screwdriver with a big ball type end that fits in the palm of your hand. Reminds me of those golf ball screwdrivers that Scoutcrafter was making there for a little while. But on the ferrule it just says Made in USA. But it has a big, beautiful flathead tip in great shape. So that'll make a cool cleanup, cool project. Next up is a plumb bob. The hole is still open at the top. It says 8 ounce, but the tip looks like it had a steel tip that broke off in there. So not quite sure if I could fix that in the proper way or not, but we'll see. Maybe with a little heat it'll come out. Next up is a little sharpening stone, Norton. Can't quite make out most of this. I'm going to put it up there, and if I can read it on the computer, maybe I'll add some text here to the screen. But it's intact, it's not broken. It says Norton embossed in it. So pretty cool. Little sharpening stone, honing stone. There's still cool stuff coming. Don't give up on me yet. But this isn't one of them. Just some bits. Can never have enough Phillips. And here we got this little file. And it says Nicholson. But also extra cool, it says tungsten, made in USA. I didn't know they made files out of tungsten. It's a first for me, so it's kind of cool to find that. Could be a good cleanup, a nice little tool to add. Alright, here's a mystery. There are 2 of these, they're like an Allen wrench, right? But look at the shape. It's more like a Torx. But it's not really the Torx, because it doesn't have any rounding on there. So I don't know. When I see Torx on the end of an Allen key type thing, just the Torx tip is on the end, and the rest of it's still, hex shank like an Allen key. So when I saw these, I thought, oh, that's cool. It's Torx, but it's the entire shaft with the Torx profile. That way, if it strips, you could grind it back a little and refresh your tool. But these are not Torx. So I don't know what they are. Was this some sort of fastener style that didn't really take off? Does anybody know for sure what those are all about? If so, let me know in the comments, please. Next up is a cute little 1-inch clamp made in USA. Nothing too special, but nice. Next up is a low-profile flathead screwdriver that someone has wrapped a whole lot of stuff around the handle. I'm tempted to cut that off to see if there's any markings in there, but it's really on there and well made, and I think I'm just going to clean it up and actually put it in the toolbox and use it. A tiny flathead screwdriver. It's got some age, not marked as far as I can see, but sometimes you need some fine tools, and that's a pretty fine tool. Got another small flathead screwdriver. This one says Irwin. It's got a number there. I'm not quite sure what the number is. And then here it says made in US of A. I'm pretty sure that means it's of a certain age, because they don't mark tools like that anymore. They just say USA, not US of A. So pretty cool. Small flathead screwdriver in good shape. Next item, it says P&S in that oval. On the back it says 9.5, and here it says 1206. It's super thick, heavy duty kind of wrench for maybe opening a valve or something. I don't know. It seems a little loose on my acetylene tank, so I'm not sure if that's really the right size, but a heavy duty little wrench. I'm saving some of the best things for last. Hang in there. Alright, so this says it's a lighter. It says made in USA, patented 8/30/1917 and 5/16/1922. Says that around here. And here it says lights quickly gas, gasoline, acetylene, and alcohol. It's called Shoot-A-Light. 75 West Street, New York, New York. So interesting. Shoot-A-Light. So it works kind of like a pistol, and it rotates a big knurled wheel in here, and this thing must be where you change out the flint, which of course the flint is long gone. So I have to look into that a little more, see if I can find a replacement flint and see if that'll work. I think it's kind of cool. shoot a light. Next up, a very small nested screwdriver. Originally, I would have thought this is part of a larger nested screwdriver, but as I look at this, there is nothing threaded on here, so it would have had to completely fit inside of another nested screwdriver. There are no marks on it, but if you unscrew the back here, you get another little screwdriver, though the knurling is all mashed up on it. Not quite sure why that is. And then if you unscrew the back, get this teeny tiny little screwdriver, like for eyeglasses or something. So, I don't know what that's all about. It doesn't have any markings, but I've never seen one like that before. To go with the low profile flathead, I've got a low profile Phillips, number 2 and number 1. And on the shaft it says Bridgeport, I'm assuming that's Connecticut. Here we have a Yankee 3111 flathead driver tip and a number 3 Phillips Stanley, same kind of connection as the Yankee, same type of drive system. Next item is, I think, a new one for me. It's got this kind of style on the handle. On the blade here it says New Home, and over here it's something New Haven, Connecticut. I don't know what it says on top. Maybe I could read it on the camera. But it's basically a little flathead screwdriver, but the style of it, whatever, feels like maybe it was something that came with an old sewing machine or something, you know, to make adjustments or maintenance or something on a sewing machine. Alright, next item is a Vaco red cap, Phillips point number 1, patent number, Vaco made in USA alloy. So it's probably a pretty good screwdriver. Could use a little cleanup on the tip, but I think it'll be good. Next up, another little quick wedge. And you know, they're dirty, they need cleaned up. This one's a little weird looking because it looks like the clip melted into the handle. So, I'm not sure how that would have happened. But it's definitely on there now. And in the haul I found a Starrett, the LS Starrett Co. You guys read that? Athol, Massachusetts, number 39. 60-degree angles. I'm blanking on what this is called and what they use this for. It's a machinist tool. I'm letting Mr. Pete down. Alright, and the last item of the $5 tool haul, remember this was all $5, is a PowerMaster hand drill. And it is made in Japan. Might be a good item to consider for the world map I want to put up. But the chuck works fine. It moves just fine. There's only 3 bits in the back, unfortunately. It says, what does that say? Yankee Handyman. And the bits just sit in the back. There's 4 bits. So, have to keep my eyes peeled, add a few more bits to that. But otherwise, it's pretty nice. Needs a little polish up, right? But it works really well. In fact, I got a little project in mind I think this could help me with. Whew! Sorry that was a bit of a long one, but there were so many items. And this was a $5 yard sale tool haul. I know, like last week, a yard sale in December in Ohio. Northern Ohio, who'd have thunk it? When I saw that sign, I had to go, and it was almost all jewelry and skincare products. And then the fella working the sale goes, hey, there's a tub of old tools over here in the corner if you're interested. So the tools were marked $0.25 a piece or 5 for $1. And after I'd picked everything, he looked in the box and he said, how about $3? I said, $3? Let's make it 5, because I'm sure there's more than $3 worth in there. And there you go. I think it was closer to $10 worth at 5 for $1.